Hello, I am super excited about our masterclass today. It's going to be all about earning your first 10K. For context, my name is Laura Mai and I own my own business. I make 12K a month and I can work from anywhere, right? I'm still at the beginning of my journey, but I wanted to make this for someone who is slightly behind me because there were so many mistakes that I made my first few years of business. And a lot of it, all of it really had to do with me and the work that I had to do on the inside. And so if you're watching this and you really struggle with getting your first 10K or you struggle with, a lot of your life in general, because I find that these things are for the most part interlinked. Like if you're not making a lot of money, you're also not doing well in your love life, etc. So we're going to go through today the things that I had to work on or the things that I did to help you get your first 10K. And I'll even tell you the story of how I made my first big sale. It wasn't exactly 10K. I think it was like 7K, something like that. But it was with a 3-time New York Times bestselling author. And in order to do this, I did 7 weeks of free work for him. And so I ran his LinkedIn, did all this stuff, did a good job. And then when 7 weeks hit, I was like, hey, do you want to continue doing this? Or do you want to step away? And so the first contract that I did with him was like 7K. And then after that initial 7K was up, then I just started charging him $1,200 a month. And we worked together for a really long time. I took his impressions from 175,000 a month to 475,000 a week. So a huge improvement, a huge difference. And I really created value for him. But at the end of the day, I only created value and did all that because he actually saw value in it because I decided to see value in that work. There were other people where I chose not to see the value within my own work where they didn't value me at all. I just shared a success story for you that happened early on for me, but I also did a lot of free work for someone who never ever ended up paying me. And so I want to walk through the energy changes and the things that you have to do on the inside in order to get these external results that you are looking for. So again, the first step that I have is changing your energy. You want to change your energy from one of desperation, of scarcity. I know you're scared if you're just starting your business, to one of abundance and all these opportunities, and then also one of self-love, okay? Because if we're not getting the type of business that we want, it's because on some level we do not believe that we're worth what we're charging or what we're doing, right? Or else we'd say no to that opportunity and just move on to the next and find our right customers. So if you are someone who works out of desperation, you see a shiny opportunity, and even though things aren't exactly happening there, you just feel like it's shiny and it's good, then you will stick with it, and you might just not see the fruit of that. And I'll give you a really specific example because I felt like I was a little bit vague there. So there was someone, they were making $500K a year in a company. They wanted to open up their own marketing firm. I had reached out to this person on LinkedIn. They said they would mentor me. I was very early on in my business, so I was totally happy to work for free. And I don't think there's anything wrong with working for free when you first start your business. That's how you gain trust. Even right now, me doing this free masterclass is to gain my audience's trust because really I'm passionate about working with women in their early 20s. But I know in order to do that, I need to give a certain amount to build a certain amount of credibility and trust with people to then eventually grow this part of my business. Okay? But so I don't think there's anything wrong with doing things for free, but I didn't cut it off. I didn't cut this person off when they kept on promising to pay me and not doing it. Now, the difference with the author that I worked with, I upfront said 7 weeks, I was boundaried with it. And when the 7 weeks hit, even though he was a huge author, right? I was like, okay, we gonna do this or not? And then it just ended up working out. But you can see the difference in energy there. One was very much of desperation. And at the time, I even blamed the person. I was like, this person's a con artist, all this stuff. But really it was me. I allowed this person to do this because I didn't actually value my work that I was doing for them. I valued them more than I valued me. And when you are a giver, when you are someone who is willing to work hard, there's a lot of people who will ask you to do free stuff. That's just the truth of it. And you need to know what to say no to. And there's a season to say yes, and there's a season to say no. And you kind of just have to figure that out for yourself. But if you're able to, shift the energy on the inside to believing that your work is valuable, that your contribution is valuable, and not in this really egoic way to be I deserve this, I deserve that, but just hey, I bring value, I deserve to be compensated fairly. Because especially I know your girlfriend's over there, your friend, and you're girl, you deserve to be paid so that you can live. It's crazy this person's asking you to do free work for so long, you got to do that for yourself. And the easiest way you can do that is to love yourself, like have self-worth and change your energy. And for me, practically how I do that is step 2, which is I invested so much in myself. Like I made this workshop free. I have like my course starting at $1. I invest $400 to $600 in coaching every single month. Pretty much since I started my business. Maybe the first 6 months I was doing like 75 a month, and then it was like 100 something a month, 150 a month. And then eventually it very quickly became $400. I had other issues to deal with too. So I was doing 400 with like my nutrition stuff. I'll share more about that story later. But if you know about my story, you know that I lost 55 pounds and I kind of like did it without trying, but I had a nutritionist at some point, or I was paying her like $400, and then she eventually switched into a business coach. But I did have a dedicated business coach when I started as well. And so I invested a lot into myself, into the things that I cared about, because that actually made me take them seriously. Like I have coaching available on my website. I just think coaching is important to do for yourself in general. Like there are things on the internet that says that you should be able to hold yourself accountable, all this. For me, I just take things more seriously when I really invest my money into them. And now I'm at the point where I can feel that me doing like another coaching or another education thing is actually me just delaying things because I already have a coach. So I was thinking about doing an MBA program. So I realized, okay, what I need to be investing in is ads for this part of the business that I want to grow. But for you, it might be investing in the guidance in the first place, or investing in your business in a significant way, so that way you really take it seriously, you take yourself seriously, and so you value things. You also have these people who are ahead of you checking you, you know what I mean? If you actually want to be held accountable and be a different person, changing my circle helped me so much. But changing my circle was hard because it's like people who are very far ahead of you, they don't want to be around you because your energy is normally very different than theirs. And if you don't understand this yet, that's okay. Like I'm not being mean. Like I'm just literally telling you how it is. And so for me, these people do have businesses. When you invest in yourself, that's when they start to take you seriously and be like, this is someone who really wants to grow. And you're paying for their time. It's not like a free energy exchange, because I promise you, to someone who's making like $1 million a year in their own business and just like being your friend, like you're probably pretty draining to them, unless it's like you're working hard in some other purpose. Like I'm not going to say everyone, but like for us entrepreneurs, different levels have different like levels of energy as well, different levels of self-awareness. That's the whole point of like moving through business and growing as a person. By the time you're here, you've grown a lot. And so bridging the gap, that's why some people have such higher prices, because it's like their energy is so much more expensive. Their time is more expensive too. There's a lot more demand. There's so many things that go into it. But I found that when I invested in people and kept them in my inner circle, I grew with them. I became more like them. They actually normally ended up hiring me as well. So I definitely recommend investing in yourself. Like if you're watching this workshop, that's great. I think that you're definitely on the right path, but this is not going to change you. This workshop's not going to change you. You need to do something to actually take this seriously. And I would recommend investing in yourself. I don't care who it's with. I don't care if it's with me. I don't care if it's with Joe Schmo down the street. Just make sure they've actually done what you want to do and that there's someone that you'd want to be. Okay, so tip number 3 in this masterclass is gain credibility in a grounded way. What do I mean by that? All these things is like, I do have to explain them a little bit. But by gaining credibility in a grounded way, I just mean like working hard in order to improve yourself to then get the results, right? So like the more results we have, the more we're able to show like, hey, we have this credibility. Like you definitely don't want to be out there like inflating your numbers and, you know, just like overextending, because people can feel that energy. So if you're able to, you know, get your speaking stuff, like I normally like volunteer some of my time and then I get speaking engagements, or now that I've done more speaking engagements, like everything kind of just snowballs. But if you're able to do like a combination of a little bit of free work to get testimonials, all this sort of stuff to show like, hey, you're good, and it's in a grounded way because you've actually done the work, that's going to go really, really far for you in terms of getting your first 10K. Okay, now the last part of this masterclass is the part that's the most important. So please sit down, please use your pen and paper and really listen to this, because I'm actually going to use the example of how I made my first 100K. So my first like 7K, like I said, was I was like reaching out to a bunch of people on LinkedIn. I reached out to this author. I did 7 weeks of free work. So maybe just go out. I don't mean maybe. Go out, offer people like a limited trial of free work. Stick to your limited trial. And then at the end, be like, hey, are you in or are you out? Hopefully you will find the right person in order to have your first couple of clients, and it should snowball from there depending on your price point. But how I made my first 100K, this is exactly what I did. And if you want to know more about this, you can check out my course in the description of this video. It's literally only $1. I wanted to make it as affordable as possible to help you with point 2 as well, to invest in yourself. My course is literally $1. Just go check it out. If you hate it, I'll give you your money back. Just email me. But yeah, so setting your goals. So when I made my first 100K, I took inspiration from the 12-week year. And like I said, there's more about this in my course too. But I went to 3 sales calls, 2 networking events, and I did 1 free thing for a client every single week for 12 weeks. And I just made sure each week to stay over 80% or more consistent with those actions. This built up so much self-trust in myself, and I didn't see any results for 12 weeks, right? Like little things here and there, but all my results came in week 13. So you are probably not doing the inputs that you need to do in order to be successful long enough in order to get the results that you actually want, because you don't know how to delay gratification yet. But if you can set your goals and you can set what makes you feel good based on the things that you do and the promises you keep to yourself versus the external results, that's how I've gotten literally all of my results. And this is like one of the top things that I've learned from most of the coaches that I worked with. Like, even with my nutrition stuff, it wasn't even so much like about me not eating, right? I would like not eat and then eat too much. It was about like breaking patterns. And so I really just had to stop the behavior of like not overeating and not dieting at the same time. So when I focused on those things, but didn't even really focus on them, it was kind of just like focusing on the rest of my life, the weight melted off. Like the exact result that I wanted. Like keep in mind, I was very, very thin at some point, and then my weight rebounded because my metabolism was so jacked. But my like lowest weight when I was under eating was like 5 pounds less than I am right now. And so I get so mad at myself sometimes because I was like, wow, I really went through all that just to be 5 pounds thinner than I am right now. And I don't even think about it right now. I think about my husband. I think about my friends. I think about all this other stuff. I don't think about my weight. And the same thing goes for business. Like I was focusing on like all these different things, all these different ideas all the time, instead of being like, hey, I want to make 100K. Like I need money. I need to know that I can do this. What are the things that I need to do in order to get closer to that goal? And then I said to myself, these are the activities that I think will help me get there based on my gifts. So let me do these things. Let me do them consistently. Let me keep my promise to myself, and I'll see how close I get to the target. And then from there I can tweak and I'll eventually reach my goal. Just so happened the first time that I did this, I met my goal. And that made me so happy. And I want you to have that same feeling. So again, this is like your little masterclass on how to make your first 10K. Just to go over the points that we talked about, you need to change your energy to one of abundance, to one of opportunity, of not being desperate and not saying yes to things out of desperation. Number 2, you need to invest in yourself. I have my $1 course below. It's a really easy way to start. It's literally only $1. But I would recommend really picking something that's going to be an amount that's going to matter to you. That's going to hurt a little bit, because that's going to make you take it seriously. But until you're there, try doing the low ticket stuff. That's literally how I started. So yeah, like I said, down in the course below, it's literally $1. Number 3, gain credibility in a grounded way. Like I said, go out there and do the free stuff, but and make sure that you're doing the work. Again, just don't overextend that. Don't make my mistakes. And number 4, set your goals. I, again, have more of that in my course, but I gave you the exact blueprint that I used to make 100K. And the exact blueprint that I used to make my first 7K. I just was sending out like DMs every day. And then I did 7 free weeks of work for like the first person who said yes. And I was like, hey, do you want to like actually do this? Do you want to make this happen? And we can go through, if you guys want me to make a video about more about pricing, I'm like available on Instagram. Just like DM me and tell me that you want me to make a video on how I like learned how to price stuff, because that's like a whole different ball game. But again, this was your masterclass on how to make your first 10K. Again, I'm available on Instagram if you want to ask me any questions about this masterclass too. Just like DM me. I probably won't be available forever, so if by the time you're watching this I'm not available on my DMs, so sorry, but I think I will be for a while. So yeah, go message me with any questions you have. Go check out the course, and hope this helped you like get some ideas and get some plans on how you can make your first 10K. And yeah, just sharing my experience, and hope you have a great day. I'm rooting for you.